Right, this video has been recorded to take you through the ticket management exception report that is to be used in conjunction with our new document regarding our service boards, how, why, what we use them for, and the reporting that we can do on them. All of our service boards are itemized here, and it's got very succinct instructions on how these service boards are to be used and why it's important, which is just as important, obviously. Okay, so the ticket management report is designed to help us lift our game in regards managing our reactive workload. Currently, we're very erratic in the management of our reactive workload, and the result of it is three-pronged. First of all, we have major customer satisfaction issues that come out of it. Secondly, we are burning potential revenue with a lack of planning around tickets, and certainly a lack of discussion around the billability of a ticket with a customer, and certainly with poor delivery, which makes things far harder for us to ask for billing. Thirdly, it makes it very difficult for us to resource and to understand where exactly we sit if we have a whole lot of tickets that are just sitting around not moving. Now, the point of this report is it's an exception report. It's designed to show tickets that haven't been correctly managed, correctly classified, or correctly being managed through the ticket life cycle. It is designed for each and every one of us to manage our own workload, and it will be sent out every morning for people to have a look at and to decide whether there's some stuff that they need to do on their own tickets to ensure that everything is working as it's meant to work. Now, the first thing we've got is a summary page, and as you'll see here, we've got service desk summary. Now, this is for any tickets that are on the category A, category B, service request or incident service boards. Those are our 4 service desk boards. What you'll see here is there's a total count of tickets that are open and a total count of tickets that are waiting. We currently have a bit of an issue with waiting tickets in that we all know that waiting stops the SLA clock, which effectively stops us from breaching tickets. But if tickets just sit in waiting for long periods of time with nothing being done, effectively all we're doing is cheating the customer and cheating ourselves. We want the SLA clock to be our guide, not something that we try to dodge or hide from. What you see here is the average age of tickets, which are certainly a guide into how someone's queue is actually looking. What you've got here is single resources when there's only one resource put to a ticket, and in this case we've got 12 tickets that are in blank, i.e. no one's got them at the moment. And on this side we've got multiple resource tickets, those tickets that are against more than one person with the same information. Now, outside of our service desk boards, we have effectively what are escalation boards. Now, these are for tickets that have been escalated beyond the service board, the service desk. This can be due to the fact the ticket is too complex for the service desk to undertake. It may be deployment of client devices. There may be tickets that require large amounts of time to be undertaken or that need to be done on site. Either way, whichever way, tickets need to be moved outside of the service desk, and there'll be more about that when we have a look at a worksheet shortly. What we have here is we have the service board, the ticket is on, again for single resources, and the engineer who's got the ticket against their name. And then again, we've got some key exceptions which basically point out what's being done correctly and what's not being done correctly. Now, the first one is the use of a work type plan when you first start a professional services ticket. As we've discussed, writing a plan about a particular ticket when it gets escalated to you is a very good way of ensuring that you've got a solid, thought-out approach in regards how the ticket is going to take place, and that correct discussions with customers around billing or the like, or with service management people have taken place to ensure that where billing were appropriate and not were appropriate. Okay, so if you've got a plan against the ticket, which every ticket is meant to, it will show in here. As you can see, we've only got 2 tickets out of 68 here that have plans, and those that don't have plans are right here. I want this column to be 0. Now, the third column is to do with the service subtype item, and that is for the billability of a ticket. So if I just quickly put something in here, I'll say that we're doing a case and it's to do with backups, and that we have talked with Neil and we've determined that this ticket is billable. We select FMS billable. Okay, if it's to contract, i.e. we're not going to bill it, we click to contract, and if we're unsure, we click unsure. Now what this means is that we can report on exactly what is going on at any given point, and it's just as important to select if something's going to contract, because a large ticket that is going to contract because it's rework or for some other reason needs to be carefully managed to ensure that the cost does not spiral out of control. Obviously, if it is to be billable, we need to have had that discussion with the customer, and that will be included in the plan. Actually, for the same purposes, we've got RMS billable to contract and unsure there as well. So please make sure that there is items in each ticket, and in this one is sum of no item, and it's saying that we've basically got very few tickets have been actually classified down to that level. Okay, total number of tickets open there, and then the average number of days that these tickets have been open. Again, for multiple resources out to the side. Now, what we have now is lists of tickets which we can use to manage our own queues and workloads. And what you'll see here is that first one is for FMS tickets, FMS customers, should I say, or the FMS boards that are still on the service desk. And this is obviously our Category A incident and Category A service request boards. As I said, this is all about exception reporting. First thing you can see is that we've got 150 tickets open on this board, of which $37,000 is currently in WIP. The first thing to look at is the sum of the dollars, and this column highlights anything that's over $300. Now, most tickets on this board should be at up to 2 hours, but not over. There can obviously be exceptions, but you need to keep an eye on whether or not tickets that are starting to get into large numbers need to be escalated through to professional services. Planning isn't so important on service desk boards, but it is nice if you do have a plan to enter it, but it is not compulsory on this particular on these service desk boards. You've got the company name, you've got the summary of the ticket, you've got the contact name, you've got the service type, and the classifications here, which on the service desk boards should be 1 and 2. You've got the status of the ticket, and then you've basically got whether or not you've got the resource list, the higher level status, and whether or not the ticket is actually for what is classified as an FMS customer. So exceptions are thrown up, and as what we can see here is that the tickets that are other, such as the Haemophilia Foundation, for example, should not be on the Category A service board, so they should be moved off to the Category B service board, or maybe even to non-contracted if they don't have a contract with us. You've got the service board they're on, and you can see that service requests are green and incidents are red, and the age is obviously of much importance here. Out to the side, you've got when the ticket was last updated by an engineer, okay, who updated it, and when was it updated. So in this case, it was 4 business days ago that this particular ticket was updated. Coming down here, we can see there's some tickets that haven't been updated in quite some time. We probably need to look at getting those ones moving again. Now, one of the things that's very easy to do in Excel is to filter, and this will enable each of you to go and have a very quick look at where you stand yourself as far as tickets that are in your queue. For example, if you wanted to look at just MOTAT tickets, is all I do is I drop the filter button down and I start typing MOTAT, and there I've got all MOTAT tickets. If I reverse out, it removes all filters. Again, if I wanted to have a look at Graham Redpath, all the tickets that Graham has against them, I just start typing his name, and you'll see that it's filtered out all tickets apart from ones that Graham has. And what I see straight away here with Graham is that he needs to be looking at these tickets here and making sure that they're getting moved forward. And you can see a lot of detail around how these should be managed. The first one here, I would say, has to be moved to the Professional Services Board. It's $1,327. It's been open for 24 days. That should not be on the FMS board, Service Desk Board. We have the same thing for RMS here, and again you can very quickly drill into who is looking at the ticket. And in Mark's case, he's got one ticket at the moment there. For Architects, looks like it's correctly on this board. It's not an FMS customer, and we have it's in waiting status, and it was updated as of yesterday. Okay, so then we have the report that is just FMS desk waiting, and these are all tickets that are currently in waiting status. Okay, again, drill into your particular queue just by starting to type your name, and in this case we can very quickly see the 9 tickets that Ross has, the 8 tickets that Ross has open. Okay, let's put that back. And we can see all the details about which board they are, what type of customer they are, when these were last updated, and who by, okay, as well as the other things. Now the PS boards are different. The first one to look at is the PS for FMS. Again, this is just for our FMS customers, and we've got a different set of requirements here. First thing is service subtype. As I said, this column needs to be fully populated. Okay, if you're unsure about the billability of a ticket when it gets passed to you, make sure that you raise with someone like myself or Addy or a salesperson, whoever looks after that customer, whether or not it's billable. Okay, this service type is very important as well. So all of these three classifications need to be populated. Rework, for example, it gives us a very, very good of how we're going with projects and stuff that need to be reworked. As you can see, we've got $13,000 worth right there. Although I know for a fact that our RMS customers have tickets that should be actually in this board, such as these 2 ground fix ones. So straight away I can see that we've got up near $15,000 worth of tickets in rework status, if not more, once we have these things correctly classified. So what we do is we remove that filter. As I said, very easy to filter, and we have got all the details that you need about your particular queue to manage these tickets. Now, as I said, the key things here as far as exception reports are concerned are these 3 columns here. Make sure they're populated, and make sure that you have a plan. Okay, if you have a plan, if you've used work type planning once, this will change from red and it will come up as has plan, and that is how every ticket on this particular service board needs to be done. One of the important things about planning is that often customers log stuff without actually really knowing what they're logging it for. And it may be a very expensive piece of work, for example. If you did some planning for it, you might come up with a bit of a path forward around how it's going to be done, and you have to contact the customer and tell them that it's going to be a $5,000 piece of work. The customer may very well at that point say, well, actually, come to think of it, do we really need it? Is there alternatives? And we might end up from a situation that the customer has been given the option of actually not taking the work. If they want to undertake the work, there's no pushback possible, because we've been very upfront around the value of the ticket. Again, when the ticket was updated, who by, and when. So this one here hasn't been updated for 42 days. Another rework ticket. It's probably worth us maybe getting this ticket closed down. PS Other is for all non-FMS customers, and I would expect most of this here to be billable work. Okay, so make sure you get those subtypes right down, and again, make sure that you get a plan. Okay. By engineer, this one here lists all tickets by engineers, so you can actually come in here very quickly and have a look at your own queue. And finally, exception reports with PS no plan and PS no item. But the main worksheets you'll be working on are up in these 5 here. Okay, so just in summary, make sure you have a plan for professional services tickets. We do have a new deployment board in which all tickets that are related to desktop or client device deployments will be put on, and make sure that the service desk tickets are being managed in the appropriate place and on the appropriate service board. Okay, as I stated, this report will be sent out every single morning, and we expect everyone to be able to manage themselves and making sure that their tickets comply with the requirements laid out in this document here. If you have any questions about tickets or any questions about anything in general, it is very important to escalate to a management person rather than just leave it, okay? Because I didn't know or I didn't know what to do is not really an excuse. All right, thanks for watching. Cheers.